Welcome everybody to the official Wholesaling 1.0 lesson. Glad you made it this far and you made it past the welcome video. That's already a step. So we're glad you made it here. So we're going to cover exactly what is wholesaling. Even though it's thrown around online a lot of people don't actually know what it is. So the actual definition of wholesaling is the assignment of a contract to a buyer. So for example, you're basically selling your rights of a contract that you have to somebody else. So they're buying that contract for you for an assignment fee. So for example, say I go and offer you $100,000 for your house. I say, listen, I'm gonna offer you $100,000 for this, closing on your time for all that kind of jazz. I'll offer you $100,000. I know your house is worth about $130,000 as is, and as is value, that meaning it can sell on the open market for $130,000, not renovated or anything. This is the as is value of it, but you're getting it at a discount. So the as is value is $130,000. So you know somebody would buy it for $130,000, but you're offering them $100,000. They say, you know what? I need the cash. I'll do $100,000. You're like, great, okay, cool. So you're on a contract for $100,000. You then go and find a buyer. Again, this is very broad, open concept, but we're going to dive into what everything means. I'm telling you the definition. So you're going to go and find a buyer for $130,000. He or she is then going to purchase at closing that contract from you for $30,000. So you take the difference between $100,000 and $130,000, and that is your assignment fee. So you're basically selling your rights to the contract, and that goes to everything. So if your buyer doesn't perform, it's on them because they signed the assignment clause and all that kind of jazz. You signed the agreement. It is on them to close that transaction. If not, they're in default, not you. So that's one benefit. Obviously, the seller can go after you. We'll get into all the legality stuff down the line, but I just want to make that very clear. So you are signing your rights to that contract for that $30,000. So $100,000 to the seller, $130,000 to the buyer. You take the difference. You make $30,000. Prime example. So that's what wholesaling is. So pros and cons to wholesaling. What exactly are the pros and cons? Why is wholesaling better than flipping if you don't have a lot of money? Why is flipping better than wholesaling if you want to build a business? We'll tell you both. So wholesaling, one of the pros is you don't need any money to get into the business. You can go out there, drive for dollars, find the deal, call the seller for free, like using public records. You can find the information. You don't need any money to do this. You can go find a buyer on social media with no money. So that's one huge benefit of wholesaling. It's also a lot less risk. So you're very rarely ever putting out a deposit. You're not investing any money into the deal. You're not doing anything that's going to require you to have a single penny to find a deal. So you can be literally broke in 1 week. Like if you be broke one day, in a month or so, you could have $10,000 or more in your bank account. Just like that. You don't need any money to wholesale real estate, which is the biggest benefit. Flipping, however, so if you want to build a portfolio, you want to buy more units, you want to leverage relationships with banks and private lenders, flipping is your friend because A, you need experience if you want to have better rates with lenders. B, if you want to keep a property after you flip it and refinance it out, you need to be able to actually take title of that property so you can flip it and then get your money out because you actually own the property. And C, it helps you build your portfolio. So if you want to build a portfolio and you want to renovate units and then keep them in your portfolio, flipping is a good way to do that, obviously, because you're buying the house and renovating yourself. Wholesaling is more of a capital builder. So flipping is to build your portfolio. Wholesaling is to build capital to build that portfolio on the line. Some people have strictly wholesale only businesses. They only want to wholesale, and that's great. You want to wholesale for the rest of your life? So be it. People make careers out of it. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to build an actual portfolio, build a big enough business to sustain yourself, in case God forbid the market turns, nobody can find the deal, nobody can wholesale. People who only wholesale are going to suffer, but people who have a portfolio that generates some cash flow are going to sustain, and they're going to be around after the tides do turn. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to stop this video, go into the chat, get any questions you have answered, or go into the Q&A session. I guarantee there's some answers in there. So we're going to dive into some basic terms that wholesalers use, or just investors in general use on a day-to-day basis. So acquisition. Think of it as acquiring. So acquire, acquisition, acquire. Put it together. So acquisition is the acquiring of a deal, acquiring of an asset, acquiring of anything. So you're looking to acquire. Now that's the acquisition. So that's a full-time job for some people. This is finding deals. Acquisitions is an entire department in some businesses. Acquisitions as a whole is an entire business for people. You know what I mean? People have acquisition-only business. They go out and find you deals. There are departments in giant investment companies that only do acquisitions because it's a lot. It's a lot to find motivation. It's a lot to find deals. But when you're going out and looking for deals, you are looking to acquire the deal. You're in your acquisition phase. So disposition. What is disposition? It sounds like acquisition because it is. Dispose. Disposition, disposing of something. So you're acquiring and you're disposing. So disposition means you are offloading your deal to an end buyer. And this is just in the terms of wholesaling real estate. To dispo a deal or disposition a deal means you are offloading it to an end buyer. You're finding a buyer who's going to take that deal from you. So you're dispositioning it out to that person, whoever's going to buy that contract from you. And some companies have teams, like 100+ sales teams on just calling buyers to disposition their deal, to buy their deal. One person could do acquisition, disposition, assignment, all that jazz. One person could do it all. But I'm just saying, for companies that wholesale as a full business model, who make millions a month, wholesale nationwide, they have an acquisition department, a disposition department, because it is a lot of it. To find buyers in North Carolina when you're in Texas, it's a lot of work. You gotta put in the work. So assignment. What is an assignment? Assignment is what I was just talking about when I said you go and find a buyer, you assign them your rights to the contract. That's what an assignment is. So you're back to my example: $100,000, $130,000. You sell them your rights to the contract. They pay you $30,000 in between. So assignment is the assignment of a contract, which is. So assignments also mean paydays. So when your assignment wire clears, you know you're getting paid. You know that money's in your bank account. It's the best day for all wholesalers. It's a great day. But the actual definition: you assign the contract or assigning the rights of the contract. How much is an assignment? Assignments are negotiable. So you choose what your assignment fee is. Obviously, leave enough meat on the bone for your buyer. But assignment fees can range from anywhere between $1. Nobody's going to do. No one's going to sign something for $1. It's a waste of time. All the way up to $1 million plus. People wholesale buildings and make millions of dollars doing it. So there's no cap to your assignment fee, but there always just has to be enough meat on the bone for your buyer to want to purchase that contract from you, to then close it themselves and flip it, keep it, whatever they're looking to do. So for us, our biggest assignment, it actually came recently. It was $145,000 was our biggest assignment that we've ever seen. That was a small portfolio deal that we did. So it can range. But before that, we were closing, our average assignment fee was anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000 depending. But obviously having this big deal come was a big home run for the team. So we're really excited about it. But that was our personal biggest assignment. You will have similar results if you stick to it. You will start to see bigger assignments come the more consistent you are, and they'll range. So you can be doing this for 10 years, and you can go sign a deal for $5,000. Those are little deals. We call them keep the lights on deals. Little deals pay for your marketing, they pay for your lifestyle, they pay for everything. But the big deals are the ones you reinvest into your business, and that's how you keep getting more deals. So that's the whole point of the game. So max allowable offer. What does MAO mean? MAO, max allowable offer. What is that? Max allowable offer. Exactly what it is. So this is the max amount that you're supposed to offer on a property that leaves enough meat on the bone for you to make money, for your seller to be comfortable, and for your buyer to also make money on the deal. So max allowable offers. So I'm just gonna write it here. So that's your max allowable offer. We're gonna dive into how to find your max allowable offer. You're gonna find out you're gonna learn about the 70% rule. You're going to learn how to make the best offers possible depending on how you're structuring your wholesales, depending on how much money you want to make, how much money you want your buyer to make, real relationships. We're going to dive into all that. That's the term you should know. Write that down. Make sure you have it. That way, if you're JVing with another wholesaler and they say, what's the MAO? You're like, oh, the max allowable offer is X. So ARV, after repair value, is the most important part next to the max allowable offer. And I would say it's even more important than the max allowable offer because you can negotiate this if you need to. This is set in stone. So max ARV is the after repair value of the property. So when I say that, that's how much the property is worth in mint condition. So once it's renovated. So if you get a property under contract for $100,000, you assign it to your buyer for $30,000. You don't need $40,000 worth of work. Ideally, you'd want the ARV to be around 220 to 230 for somebody to make money after all their costs. Ideally, the more the merrier, but the more it's worth, the more your assignment fee could be. So it all depends. So not being good at calculating ARVs is going to cost you money. It's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you relationships. It's going to ruin your reputation because if you can't calculate a good ARV after repair value, nobody's going to buy deals from you. Nobody's going to want to do business with you, and they're going to think you're a scrub. So we're going to teach you guys how to do it, but this is just a term so you know what it is. After repair value, make sure you have that down because it's important. And buyers are going to want to know what the numbers are before they even look at the deal. And if you can't be able to provide your buyer the numbers, they're not going to work with you because they're going to think you're a scrub who's not going to do business with, and you don't want that. We don't want that for you. We're going to make sure you're doing it right. So last but not least, comps. What are comps? Comps, I'm just going to write it down. Comparables. These three most important parts of a deal. Knowing how much to offer, knowing what the property's worth afterwards, and knowing what similar sales are. So comps, comparables sounds exactly how it is. Similar sales. You gotta know how much other things are selling for. That way you know how much your house is gonna sell for. Nobody wants to buy something if they see comps that are for $250 and you're saying they're for $300, and they look at comps and they see your comps are $50,000 over where the comps are. They're gonna think you're a scrub. They're not gonna like you. They're not gonna do business with you. You don't want that. So you want to make sure your comps are good. We're gonna dive into all these three especially. So make sure you write these down. But we're gonna dive into all these in a separate module. That way you are fully educated on exactly what you need to do to find the max allowable offer, the ARV, and the comps. So that's it for this module. I appreciate you guys coming along with me. I will see you in the next lesson.